Right, we are live. If you can hear us, see us, and you're watching us, let us know in the comments. We're here to preview and look ahead to tomorrow's game against Watford. That has come round incredibly quickly. Right, can we see any comments? Who's playing it? I heard an echo.
I've got it on my phone.
Okay. So Liam will do comments, but yeah, put a comment in if you can hear and see.
Liam 9. Hi, mate. Right, buddy. Plymouth
Right.
Leo. Right, buddy.
Awesome. Right, good to see. Right then, basically, guys, like I said, and you can tell by the title, we're going to look ahead to Watford tomorrow because, we would usually do normal content where I film a preview, someone films a predicted lineup, but it's just one of those where it's come around so quickly, we thought it'd just be better to look ahead as a group on a live stream with you guys. So where to start? I guess, boys, let's talk about Arsenal because, as always with previews, we sort of look at the last game. Start with you, Liam, because obviously we watched it together.
Yeah.
How disappointed were you, to be honest, with that performance?
To be fair, I look back on it now. I wasn't actually too disappointed, but at the time I was. Obviously, just two mistakes, unfortunately, from McCarthy that obviously cost us the game. But you look at it as a whole, the first half wasn't good enough at all. Arsenal really exploited us with their three at the back. Then in the second half, we dominated the ball. Just couldn't really do anything with it. Arsenal just sitting back, and it's disappointing, but it happens at the end of the day, and we've just got to move on to Sunday.
Yeah, I think I'd be way more gutted if we lost to Watford than Arsenal. To be honest, I think Arsenal are looking. They look good, yes, on Thursday. Let's not lie, but I think why people would say they were disappointed more so with the result necessarily than the performance was more so because they've just been so poor for that restart. Tom, do you see it as a bad result, or do you think it's just one of those where it's like, okay, it's unfortunate, but we just have to move on to the next game?
It sort of just sums up the season, really. One minute we're brilliant, the next week we're awful. And obviously, there's always going to be a reaction for Arsenal. Losing two in a row, especially to Brighton, I think they're always going to react. So yeah, it's a disappointing result, but hopefully we can react against Watford because I think I've watched a couple of games and they've not looked too good.
No, well, look, I think it's a really good opportunity to sort of just move on because we have got a game so quickly after that Arsenal game. I mean, let's talk about Arsenal and just finish off from what we saw. Obviously, Højbjerg apparently could be a doubt because he picked up that ankle injury. Stevens, we know, is suspended for a game. Gineppo's got his final game of his suspension. Josh, are you a bit concerned that we might actually have to play some players that we wouldn't have before, and that could leave us a bit open?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the main concern is Stevens being out. That would mean either Danso or Vestergaard would have to come in, and they haven't looked brilliant at all this season. So vulnerable to mistakes at the back. I mean, you conceded two big errors against Arsenal, but you never know with Vestergaard. He turns like a truck. He doesn't really offer much in our defence at all, and that really does concern me, especially against someone like Troy Deeney, who just bullies defenders on his day.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you sort of mentioned the fact that we conceded from two errors. Of course, Alex McCarthy's performance was incredibly disappointing, Josh, but we were just saying about it off air, how reactionary some of our fans are. There's no need to drop him, is there?
No. I mean, Angus Gunner struggled as well this season, but McCarthy, he's a great shot stopper at the end of the day, and he's the best keeper we have, so you've got to stick with him. Yeah,
okay, well, I completely agree, but I was looking at the table today because I hadn't really taken the opportunity to after our defeat. But of course, Newcastle are in FA Cup action this weekend, meaning that if we do win tomorrow, we go up to 13th, albeit they'll have that game in hand. And then 12th is still, it's not far away. And I think top half now is off the table. But the big thing that I noticed was a win will take us to the magic 40 points. Liam, I know we've said we're safe, but will that definitely mean we're safe?
100%. Just to see that magic 40. Like, we haven't seen that in a couple of years since obviously Claude Puel. We ended on 38 points last year, which we're a point off, and we've still got 8 games left. And, just it'll be massive getting to that 40 points. If we can get a win tomorrow, decent performance, because we've got a really couple of hard games coming up soon.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you there, mate. I think, well, obviously we know, I think we all felt that we were safe before the Norwich game, let alone after the Norwich win, and even now that we're very close on 40 points. But Tom, mate, what do you think is achievable for us? Because we've had a win, we've had a draw, a loss even, and now we've got another winnable game. Do you think it should be top half, or do you think that's completely out of the question now and it's just a case of us finishing as hard as possible?
I think finish as hard as possible, but I think the top half's out of reach now, especially with City and United to come. We're still playing teams that have got a lot to play for. Bournemouth later in the season could still have a lot on that game. So I think, top half's going to be very tough. But like I said earlier, 12th, 13th, I'll take that right now.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Well, of course, let's look at Watford because that's obviously our next game. We've got an excellent away record this season. We obviously know that. And we haven't actually got a bad record against Watford at Vicarage Road. We've drawn all but one of the games we've played them there since their promotion. We won one back in 2017. So we're unbeaten, but we do find it hard to get that final touch to get the 3 points, Josh. Obviously, we've been a couple of times together at Vicarage Road recently, and we've seen some very frustrating not performances, but results where we should have won and we haven't. Do you think that this year, maybe the fact that Watford are a bit worse than they have been recently and we're a bit better than we have, we'll finally have that final edge to go and get a win there?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, obviously, Watford have improved dramatically since Pearson came in, and he's solidified them at the back, especially. We definitely can get the 3 points, but at the same time, Watford really, really do need these points now. They're on 28 points, I think, 1 point above the relegation zone. So they will be desperate. They'll be hungry, and they could easily beat us as well. But it depends how we turn up on the day. Hopefully, Ings gets a few goals, and we'll get the 3 points.
Well, hopefully soon we can have some insight from Shane from WD18. But let's talk about the predicted lineup, because obviously that's part of this as well. I mentioned it before, Højbjerg's not likely to miss out, but Ralph did say he's going to be assessed, and Buffal is going to be assessed as well. So if Højbjerg isn't fit, Liam, would you have Romeo or Smallbone in there? I think I know your answer, but just for the sake of the question.
Before I say this, what do you think my answer is going to be?
I think your answer is going to be Smallbone.
You're wrong. Honestly, to be fair, you are right.
Okay.
I would like Smallbone in there, but I look at it with their midfield with Decore and Capoue, their physicality with Smallbone. I just don't think it'll work. So if Højbjerg is a doubt, I think I'd probably start Romeo.
I think my audio is lagging a bit, so what I might do, guys, apologies, I might have to come in and out just because I think it's all lagging a bit. So I'm going to come back in, but you guys just keep talking about your predicted lineup